can't really fully embrace what's coming in your future if you still have one arm tied behind your back holding on to the past. Hey y'all, I hope everybody's doing well. This video is going to be a little bit different because I have some personal things to share. And I'm going to try to do it with little to no editing. We'll see how that goes because I like to sway back and forth. But anyways, I was watching a fellow YouTuber talk about their journey and how they were having trouble deciding whether to continue to express their thoughts and the things that were going on in their lives, in their life, on YouTube, because some of the feedback they were getting through comments and stuff were really dark and difficult and not nice, and they were making this person feel very uneasy. And this is someone who had a lot of trauma and was struggling with stress and anxiety anyway, was very open about that on their channel, and had many difficult experiences that they were trying to deal with emotionally, psychologically, and all of that. And despite their best efforts to explain things, and explain where they were coming from and their point of view, this person, I don't know if it's more than one comment, but there is one comment in particular that was referenced where they were just not being supportive. They weren't really listening. They weren't really hearing anything. And they were being, whether intentional or not, they were being very derogatory and condescending to this person, even though the subject matter that they were speaking about was extremely sensitive. And my heart went out to them. And I realized that part of the reason that I started to follow this YouTuber was because some of the traumatic experiences that they had encountered were things that I had encountered as well. So I kind of identified with it. Some of them are things that I have to say, with no disrespect to anybody, are things that I've been lucky enough not to encounter. And I'm very grateful for that because they seem very just life-changing and undeniably difficult and traumatic. But my key takeaway was when this person was deciding whether or not they wanted to continue doing this journey, it kind of struck me for a moment, because personally, for me, over the past few months, some of you know, if you're members, you definitely know, because I've talked about this in some members only footage as well, that I am really, really struggling with the work aspect of being here in the UK. Not really because it's that different from what I'm used to in the US, but because it's not that different than what I was used to in the US. And in the US, I was doing a lot of this type of work because I had to. I didn't have a lot of other skill set. And this other skill sets I had didn't pay the bills. So I had a child to raise and feed. I had bills to pay, and it's very expensive to live in America. And I didn't really have much of a choice. And that was most of my life. And part of my journey of taking the plunge and jumping the pond and coming here to the UK to live was to try to build a better life, to try to build a better future for not just myself, but for my child. And I am happy to say that on many of the aspects, we are definitely in a better position, and my child is thriving, and that's obviously the first thing that I care about in my life. And it seems to be, as of right now, that their future is bright and full of promise, and I'm very much looking forward to all of that comes down the pike for them. But I think that the reason this particular video resonated so closely with me is that it touched on, would it be easier to just give up and not participate? You know, I don't think they were talking about it in like a not participate in life kind of thing. They were coming at it from a perspective more of like maybe YouTube isn't worth it for them because they wanted to deal with everything they were dealing with in their life and just focus on those things that were important to them, which I completely support. But the thoughts it started to bring up for me was more of, is this journey really what I thought it was going to be about? You know, I wanted it to be a better life. I wanted it to be a different life. Those aren't necessarily synonymous, right? A different life isn't always better. That whole grass is greener thing, right? And although this might be a better life for my child, doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a better life for me unless I make decisions to make it a better life for me. Overall, it's a better life in the sense that I'm much more relaxed. I'm happier. I know I'm healthier. I'm definitely on a path to be even more healthy, which I hope will happen sooner rather than later. Mentally, I'm more stable, and I definitely have prospects for a better future for myself. But where I keep running into a wall personally is the fear that letting go of my previous life means that I'm letting go of everything that's comfortable, everything that I once relied on, and everything that I thought life was. And that I might be hanging on to this kind of traumatic work cycle because it's the only thing really left of my old life that I haven't just completely let go and started something new or tried something new. And so the fear of really letting go of that and starting a whole new kind of career or a whole new life as far as work and what I do at least to make money has so many unknowns. And I'm not a spring chicken. And I still have responsibilities. I still have, a child to raise and feed. That didn't change. And I feel like that I keep waffling back and forth on whether or not I can continue to do this work that I'm doing and have this money coming in because it's safe and reliable, and then do my fun YouTubing and anything else that I wanted to try to do for money outside of that when I have time. Or do I need to really let that go and really just focus on starting over completely? Because it's not work that I loved. It never was. It was always something that I just did for money. And I don't necessarily hate that aspect of it. I have no problem doing things for money. It depends on what the things are. But I have no problem working for money. It doesn't have to be my life's fulfillment. But I don't have to make it the center of my day, right? And how do I fix that mindset so that it's not the center of my day? And it is just a thing that I do on a list of the 10 things or whatever that I do throughout the day. The other thing that watching this YouTube video made me think about was how hard it is to really let go and make a huge change in your life. And it's not a physical thing. I will admit that part of me was like, oh, just moving to another country will solve some of these problems. And it just doesn't. It never does, right? And obviously that's something that hit me smack in the face like a Mack truck really quickly when I moved here to the UK. But it's also that you have to realize that you can't really experience that next step in your life until you've completely turned your back on your old life. And now I'm not talking about turning your back on, people that are still bringing you value or still supporting you or anything like that. But you can't, and you're never going to forget your roots or where you came from. None of that either. But you can't really fully embrace what's coming in your future if you still have one arm tied behind your back holding on to the past, right? How are you supposed to catch a ball like this in your whole life? You can't. And sometimes the steps that we take to get rid of that burden, to get rid of whatever's keeping that one arm tied behind our back, make no sense to other people. Like, nobody gets it. Nobody understands it. People are leaving comments. People are in your private life are trying to help you in the best way that they know how. But they just don't understand how that step is really going to help you. Because no one will ever completely understand what's inside your own mind except you. And that's why it's so important that when you make these decisions, especially when they're huge life-changing decisions, like moving to another country, like deciding to completely shut down a portion of your life that brought a lot of value to you for a really long time, no one has to understand it. And you don't need permission to do it. You don't need a support group, although it does make life easier. You don't need it. If you decide that it's what you want to do, then do it. If you decide that it's something that you want to try, good, bad, ugly, whether you're successful or you fail, you want to just go with it and feel all of the feels and deal with it and see what happens at the end, just do it. We only have one shot. I know that not everybody believes that, but that's what I believe. There's only one chance. And you have no idea when that door is going to close on you of opportunity. And you have no idea when your time is up. So stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for some kind of validation. Stop waiting for permission. If you really want to do it and it really brings you value and you know in your heart and in your soul that it's what you need to do, even if it's a fail, you need to do it. So if you are that person that's looking for permission or validity in your decision, I'm giving you that permission. I'm validating your choice. This is something I've struggled with a lot in my private life, and I'm still struggling with on this work thing. I'm constantly looking for someone else to validate whether or not my decision on how to do this is working. And I really have to just take the plunge and do it the way I want to do it and see what happens. And just believe in myself that I can pick up the pieces if it becomes an epic fail, or that I can find my way and learn something from this that I could take with me to the future. Because my sister, my only sister, my younger sister, died at 35. Unexpectedly, leaving 3 young children behind. And I made a promise to myself after that happened that I wasn't going to live for the future that may happen someday, that I was going to live for the moment, that I was going to do what I needed to do to make myself happy in that moment and in ways that I know if this goes shit tomorrow, excuse my language, or if I become incapacitated in some way, or if I leave this earth in a minute, will I have left behind whatever legacy will have given my family and my child the best I did, or best I could have done with what I had, with the time I had, with the resources that I had, with the strength that I had. And I just kind of got lost in the last few months because I've been on this struggle and I've had all these other things going on, and I've let life take over so much that I forgot that was really what I was trying to do with my life. And that was really the basis of the decision to change my life and to make this jump across the pond and try to make a different life in a different country with my family and try to make a different future to see what happened. I had no guarantee that it was going to turn out positively, and I still don't. But at least I know that I tried. And at least I know I gave it the best shot that I could, and I made the best decision I could with the resources I had at the time. So as long as you're doing that, as long as you're being true to your heart and true to who you are, F everybody else. Everyone who's on the comments, who is in your private life telling you that you're crazy, who is in your workplace saying, well, what are you going to do for money? Or what are you going to do for this? Or how are you going to pay these bills? Or your parent or your loved one or your best friend saying, are you all right? Like, do you need help? Do you need some kind of mental help? Because this is crazy. Who cares? It could all be over tomorrow. Who cares? Just do it. If you need permission, I'm giving you permission. Do it. Stop worrying about anybody else when it comes to something you know you truly believe in. Of course, you have to worry about people in your life that you value, how it affects them. I can't just make a decision on the fly without thinking about how it affects my child, right? But if you know in your heart that you're going to be able to figure out how to do it, even if you don't have a full plan laid out, just do it. I had no plan really in my head. After maybe 5 steps of like getting a house and getting the child in school and finding a job, I had no real plan on how I was going to live here. After that first 10 things got checked off, I was kind of like, now what? And I think that might be why I'm a little bit in limbo. But I do believe in myself because I know that before my sister died, I would have never, ever thought I could do this. Before I was able to survive all that, help my child survive that, before I learned all the lessons that I learned that surrounded that in the aftermath of her death, I would have never realized how important seizing the moment and making each moment as valuable as possible was. And I would never be here in the UK. It was a long series of events that led me to this, but I would have never been here otherwise. So I don't know if that YouTuber is watching this, but I hope that you find whatever it is that's bringing you value. And if it means that you have to leave YouTube, that's fine. Do what you need to do. Doesn't matter that it brought you value in the past. If it's not bringing you value today, then it's not worth your time. You can always come back to it later. And if anyone else is watching this that can understand where I'm coming from or this other YouTuber is coming from, please share the message, because so many people get caught up in life so easily and make decisions on the fly or make decisions without really realizing how precious time is, how precious life is, how precious those little moments of each moment is, whether it's laughing, whether it's doing laundry together, whether it's just laying next to each other, whether it's having a meaningful exchange, or whether it's having an experience together. Whatever it is that's bringing you value, as mundane or as insignificant as others might think it is, as long as it's bringing value to you, it's worth it. And if you need to make a big decision that everyone else thinks is crazy, do it. So many people thought this decision was crazy, to the point where I literally talk to nobody from the US anymore. Not even my parents. My father is no longer with us. But I still protected my mom by saying parents. You have to just let it go. If they don't support you, they're not going to support you. There's no kind of explanation. There's no, way of getting them on your side, really. So just let it go. Bring your arm, freedom, come back into the front of you in order to see what's going on, in order to see what beautiful things can be handed to you. or to be able to be push away the negative things that aren't, that you need to get around, the obstacles that you need to overcome. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. You have permission to do it. It's worth it. Life is worth it. I hope this helped all of you. I know this is kind of a rant, but I really thought it was important that I got those feelings out. I love you guys. I wish you all nothing but the best. And if you don't resonate with this and you want to leave negative comments and that's bringing value to you in your life, I don't mind. Go ahead. Because I'd rather you do it to me on the computer than somebody out there in person that's really going through something that you couldn't even imagine happening to yourself. So I wish nothing but the best for all of you. Only positive thoughts. If there's any way I can help you or you have any questions, just let me know. I love you all. Please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.